right now, if you're like most people going for a breakup, you're probably doing everything in your power to feel better. And that, well, it makes perfect sense, right? I mean, you're in pain, so naturally you want that pain to stop. But here's where things get a bit more interesting. And frustrating also, mind you. All those logical things that you're doing to feel better, they're actually making you feel worse. Probably. Like, this is my guess, but it's usually, I'm usually right when it comes to most people about this specific issue. So it's not just like my opinion, it's a really well-researched common psychological phenomena that plays out over and over again in breakup recovery. So let me break down for a start the 4 ways people try to fix their post-breakup pain and why each approach tends to backfire, sometimes spectacularly. First, there is active avoidance. Now this is when you're doing everything possible to avoid reminders of your ex. You're deleting photos, you're blocking them on social media, you're taking different routes to avoid places that might trigger memories of them, of your dead relationship. You're basically doing no contact and then some. You're essentially trying to erase this person from your life, at least temporarily, in hopes that out of sight means truly out of mind. Now, while this is by itself perfectly sound and reasonable, and it does work in speeding up breakup recovery, sure, I admit that, it's very true, but what many people forget is the other side of the coin. Once you pursue some degree of avoidance, you've gotta deal with your feelings about that avoidance. You've gotta process them in some way, or else they're just gonna grow and fester, grow stronger, that is, and then you'll actually think about your ex more, not less. The second approach to fixing that post-breakup pain that I see constantly is forced positive thinking. This is the good vibes only approach to breakup recovery, to put it in other words. So it's telling yourself and thinking things like, I'm better off without them, or this is a blessing in disguise, or everything happens for a reason, or I'm awesome, I don't even need them in the first place, nor want them. Well, you clearly do. Now, I'm not against optimism, just to be really clear about this. But there is a massive difference between authentic optimism that emerges naturally and this performative positivity that's essentially emotional gaslighting. Because when you force yourself, emphasis on force yourself, to focus only on the positive aspects of your breakup while your heart is breaking, well, you're invalidating your own entire experience. It's like telling someone with a broken leg, at least you still can use your arms. Like, technically that's true, but not particularly helpful or even compassionate. And the thing about forced positivity is that it creates a secondary layer of suffering. So now you're not just hurting from the breakup, you're also feeling like a failure for hurting in the first place. To move along to our third approach, this is all about constant distraction from breakup pain. So think Netflix binges, mindless scrolling, drinking with friends, throwing yourself into work, jumping into the dating pool way too early, or getting lost in prostitutes, right? The goal here is to essentially keep yourself so busy that you don't have time to actually feel and deal with your pain, your breakup pain. Now, I'll say the logic seems sound here. If you don't want to think about something else instead. And I'll be the first to admit that distraction has its place in recovery. Yes, you've heard that right. Sometimes you do need a break from intense emotions. But when distraction becomes your primary coping strategy, well, at that point you're essentially putting a band-aid on a wound that needs stitches. The bleeding might stop temporarily, but no real healing is happening. And the moment you slow down, maybe you're lying in bed at night or you have a quiet weekend, all those unprocessed feelings, they come flooding back, often but not always, even stronger than before. Now, I remember personally when I went through a particularly painful breakup years back, when I was still like a bloody teenager. Good times, by the way. I scheduled every minute of my day for weeks, like work, gym, social events, dating apps, you name it, anything to keep my mind occupied. I thought I was handling my breakup well, obviously. That is until I caught a really bad cold and I had to spend an entire week alone in my home. So I was without all of my distractions, and so I completely fell apart. And that's when I realized I just hadn't been healing at all. I'd just been running away from pain. And I want to point this out that you don't want to get into this position, right? Don't repeat my mistake, is essentially what I'm saying. It's really that simple. Now, the fourth approach to dealing with pain, probably the most insidious one on our little list here, if we can call it that, is self-judgment about the recovery process itself. This is a interesting thing. This is when you're essentially telling yourself that you should be over the whole breakup by now, that you're taking too long to heal, and that there must be something batshit wrong with you for still feeling this way, for still feeling bad. So, for example, you say to yourself or think to yourself things like, it's been 3 months, why am I still thinking about them? My friend got over their breakup in a few weeks. Like, what's wrong with me? Why do I need months or even years, maybe? Or you start thinking and saying to yourself, I should be dating again right now, by now. And all these shoulds are completely arbitrary expectations that have nothing to do with your unique emotional process. Look, the thing is, recovery isn't linear, and it doesn't follow some preset timeline, some strictly like predetermined pattern. Some people, they take weeks, others take years, and a host of factors influence how long it takes for you to like get over the whole thing, to move on. The length of the relationship, the circumstances of your breakup. So was it messy, amicable, or was it done through text, a phone call? Was this a long distance relationship? Then there's like your attachment style and your ex's attachment style that we need to take into consideration, your support system, and so much more. Like, when you judge yourself for not healing fast enough, you are adding just unnecessary pressure to an already difficult situation. It's like having a broken bone and getting angry at yourself because it's not healing on the schedule you prefer. Like, your body and mind have their own healing timeline, and fighting against that timeline, well, as you'd expect, it only prolongs the breakup recovery process. So these are the 4 at least main ways, people try to feel better after a breakup: careless avoidance, forced positivity, constant distraction, and self-judgment. And they all stem from the same flawed assumption that negative emotions are something you need to fight against, to avoid, or overcome as quickly as possible. Hey everybody, thank you for watching. This was part of my podcast, The Max Jancar Show. You can subscribe to it anywhere podcasts are available, so Spotify, Apple, YouTube, whatever you use. You can also click the link below this video to check out the full episode, not just this one clip that you just watched. So check that out, check out the podcast in general. Thanks for watching, and talk to you again soon.